I guess you got your finger right on the pulse. You're seeing the slightest changes in the way that the trends are going, and the SCOTUS process just added another layer of complexity, I guess, to what was already a pretty volatile situation. What does it mean, and who do you think gets an advantage from it, net in the end, if anyone?
Net, I think it might be a wash, Joe. I mean, both bases are going to be charged up probably pretty equally. There's some polling at the last couple of days that voters would prefer the president to wait and the Senate to wait. But, I don't see any indications that it's a high priority for them. I think at the end of the day, debates are going to matter hugely. The state of the economy, the status of the COVID pandemic, I think they are all more important than the SCOTUS nomination and confirmation process. It'll be great for TV. It's great for the partisans involved. But for voters who are looking to change their minds and are still weighing, and there aren't a lot of them, but that small cohort of voters, unless there's something in those hearings where one side overplays a hand, somebody trips up in a statement, I think at the end of the day, it's a wash.
I mean, I remember the last one, and already a couple of the stars of the last one, and I use stars in a, whatever, but Blumenthal and Senator Hirono, but neither one of us is going to meet with Amy Coney Barrett. I'm just wondering whether, she's a very impressive, obviously, woman, and I wonder if you can get away with some of what we saw with Kavanaugh or not. I think maybe that may change the dynamic of what we see this time around, don't you think?
Right. And that's what I was alluding to. Can one side overplay its hand? Can they be so dismissive of a qualified candidate that it backfires on them? Can Democrats, in asking questions, come across as condescending to people of faith, and how they act in the public square, whether they can bring their faith into the public square and be faithful to the laws and the Constitution, and ask those questions in a respectful, meaningful way without looking down their noses that somehow, we've seen some of the reports out of Reuters and other outlets initially describing or characterizing Judge Coney Barrett. And, I think it was probably fairly insulting to a large number of Americans.
Yeah, we'll see. Better
road,
tread lightly.
Then they overplay their hand.
Right. And then it's interesting, you say Biden leads, but the trend is towards Trump. And then
I think slowly. Yep.
And then you also say that about the Senate, that the Dems have more pickup possibilities, but the races have tightened in the GOP direction. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. As I've been looking at it over the last couple of months, I think Republican voters have been coming home. We got through the summer, beginning of the summer with COVID, the racial tensions and the unrest. The Trump numbers were not good. That's when Biden had his biggest lead. And when you look at a number of Senate races, I think that's when several key races, Iowa, North Carolina, when Democrats had their biggest leads in those races. I'm not saying that it's a guarantee that Republicans are going to win, but over the last couple of weeks, I think as a natural tendency in elections, the base has come home.